इतना सा फर्क है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानपुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Good afternoon, one and all. Franchise India, yes, the brand which was established in 1999 to take all international and national brands to expand their business with our 70 plus offices. We have helped all the potential business buyers to get their dream brands from us. We have started one initiative on 1st of May 2020, keeping in mind the situation of COVID, that's Business Opportunity with Chai series, and we have celebrated, today we are celebrating our 88th edition of this particular webinar, and we try to present you 200 plus business opportunities. We welcome our panel member, Mr. Gaurav Maria, who's the chairman at Franchise India Group. We also welcome our second panel member, Ms. Sonia Chaudhary. She's the MD at our Franchise India Brands Limited. We welcome our third panel member, Ms. Venus Varag. She's heading our Fran Global. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Today, we are presenting a brand, Kosmoderma, the brand which already running their 6 centers, 5 in Bangalore, 1 in Chennai, started in 2005. And it's our privilege that today we have Dr. Anand along with Ms. Lal presenting their business opportunity with us. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today. We are excited to talk about your brand. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you. If you allow me, I think I'll get us all started. So my name, and thank you Archana for introducing. So my name is Venus Varag and I'm the CEO of Fran Global. As Archana mentioned, we are part of Franchise India. We are the international arm, and we exclusively work with international brands and help them find the right strategy and partner for India, with an exception. Then that's why I'm here. So I think the story with Kosmoderma and us is very personal. In fact, I started in franchising in 2007 by bringing in with Gaurav FranCorp to India, and FranCorp actually works with starter franchisors. So I think I rarely take up now that roles, but with Kosmoderma and speaking to Dr. Anand, who has been doing such a tremendous work and modernizing a very established and traditional industry and bringing it to people and public in general with the highest of standards. So me and Dr. Anand, I think we interacted so many times to kind of really see what is the opportunity and how we actually can sort of really take the work which Dr. Anand has done over the years and really offer it to a market in a manner that that it can be connected with right franchise partners. So Dr. Anand, thank you so much for, I think, we had some very interesting conversations. So it's I'm very happy that we have reached this stage where after all the hard work, we are launching the brand today, and very much welcome to this session. And I think I like to sort of, if I can get you started, I know we have a presentation as well, but if I can get you started on, Kosmoderma as a brand, like, how it got started and where it is and how do you see it sort of, panning out, and then we can bring in some sort of other sort of aspects to our presentation today.
Thank you, Venus. Thank you, Franchise India, for this. And I'm really excited and happy to be here because this is a culmination of decades of hard work and research and, of course, dreams. Now, when I started to study, I studied medicine. I went to medical school, but I always liked something about beauty. And it was about making people look good and feel good. And so then I went to London to study further, and I did a few courses in beauty therapy, actually. And there I discovered this whole field of aesthetic medicine or cosmetic dermatology or cosmetology, as we call it here in India. And that was way back in 2002, 2003, where it was still very nascent in India. And then after doing my dermatology in London, and I did a fellowship in Miami at the Miller School of Medicine, I came back and I wanted to start something in India because there was nothing in India that was organized in this sector. Everything was very disorganized. You had people who would just go to the beauty salons to get like an acne treatment when we knew that acne was a disease, or people would just go and have these chains of hair clinics do hair procedures for them and then pay a lot of money without any science behind this or foundation. And also there was this whole thing that anything abroad is so great and India doesn't have quality. So I wanted that myth to be busted, and I wanted to ensure that we got the best quality available abroad, even in India. So I started Kosmoderma in 2006 and 7, actually 2007 to be precise is when it took off. And the idea was just to get gold standard treatments which were affordable, safe, and effective for Indian people. Because when people study all these lasers and technologies, it's for the Western culture. They don't do much on Indian, right? So I wanted this to percolate to India. And that's what I did. I started a training academy in 2008 because I found that doctors in India were not trained in this field. And I've trained over 3,000 doctors now in India and over 5,000 doctors globally in aesthetic medicine. And so I train internationally for people to understand how to treat skin of color, which is Indian skin, which is our specialty, and hair, of course. And so that's how the whole journey started. And because there was so much demand for this, we slowly opened one center by one center, and we're all self-owned and company-owned, company-operated. And now we're 6 clinics, and I'm really proud of our achievement. And now we're ready and poised to take this out to the rest of India and to partner with people who have like-minded ideas where they want to get people to look beautiful and feel great, and spread the whole message about having gold standard treatments which are affordable, safe, effective, and let everybody know that you don't have to go abroad. In India, there's Kosmoderma, which gives you the best possible skin, hair, and body solutions. This is how this whole journey started.
Thank you, Dr. Anand. And I think there's one follow-up question before I request Gaurav and Sonia to come in, is there is one mental block which is there in people in general. I'm not saying everybody, that salon is cheap, and as soon as you enter an aesthetic clinic, you should be looking at it, spending 10, 15, 20,000 rupees. And I think when I spoke to you, you actually sort of, broke that mold and say, no, you can actually spend like what you spend on a normal facial in an aesthetic clinic and still get better results. You want to kind of touch upon that area?
Sure. The greatness with our brand is that we have 2 models, right? We have the elite model, and then we have the express model. So what happens is we've made our treatments affordable to the average Indian. We've not become elitist, because people perceive cosmetic dermatology or cosmetic skin clinics as being elitist, as being unaffordable, etc. They don't realize that it can just become a part of your daily or your monthly, weekly ritual for your skin and hair needs, just like a salon is, except that you're integrating beauty and medicine and taking it to the next level. So we've been able to work in-house with our proprietary we formulated our own skincare, formulated our own peels, and we've got the best laser machine devices manufactured specially for Kosmoderma at great prices. So we're able to transfer this affordability to the patient or the client at the end of the day. So we start at something like 1,500. Our basic treatments start at 1,500 rupees. And that's something that can be a monthly maintenance with a microdermabrasion and a chemical peel and a mask, which is a 45-minute procedure. And it's fantastic because, at the back end, we've reduced the cost to such a level that we can give this to our patients. Before we evolved this at Cosmoderma, we used to charge about 3,500, sometimes 5,000. But today, 1,500 is your opening ticket. And that's what it is.
Great. Gaurav, you want to come in now?
I think we should go with the presentation first, and then we'll try to take a Q&A later.
Sure.
So, Dr. Anand, if we can get started with the full presentation so our audience really gets a full understanding of the business model. Thank you for your early brief, and we compliment you what you've achieved, especially coming from medicine and now starting a new journey on aesthetic clinics. So let's begin with the presentation, please.
Sure, I'll bring in Tanushka and Anshul.
Welcome, Tanushka. Thanks for once again being part of our you are on mute.
Yeah, good afternoon to all of you all, and I'm glad that we are here to showcase the brand Kosmoderma, which is the renowned brand in medical aesthetic category in India. So I would like to roll out the presentation and I could start with it.
Anshul, can you put the presentation up?
All right, while he rolls out the presentation, it was Dr. Chytra, our CEO's vision to bring cosmetology to India and to bring this new age beauty science to to every household in the most affordable manner and with international standards. So here we are being successful and being able to have around 1 lakh clients year after year. And we are kind of progressing every year with our skin, hair, and beauty, 360 degrees of wellness and a holistic approach. So why to have a medical science? Why to have a medical beauty? We would definitely be a culmination of the entire segments of beauty therapies, which is very, very superficial, to having science from beneath, where we treat every client, every customer of ours from within the body, within the skin. So that's what we are different from other beauty salons. And we treat clients from acne scarring to hair care, which is hair thinning, to pigmentation, to body sculpting, and anti-aging treatments. There were days where people never knew, 10 years back, people never knew what was a Botox. People never knew what was, beauty didn't come in the front page. But now we have men, women who knows a lot about it. And when we are evolving over the years, where people looks forward to be beautiful, to be fit, and that's going to be the factor of every being, of being beautiful, which takes care of their 90% of their confidence. So Cosmoderma has been quite a well-known name and been there in the market for having that many clients who are very happy and been loyal with us over a decade. So we have been successful, and Dr. Chytra was the first to bring in the US FDA approved technology to India. And we continue to bring in the best of the technologies for skin, body, and hair. And we are proud to be the pioneers in this industry.
Sure.
So can I have the next slide on, please? Yes, we have Cosmoderma being diversified into certain verticals. We have the skin and hair clinic. We have the health and wellness center, When we say health and wellness center, we are talking about a 360-degree wellness and holistic approach where we have lymphatic drain massages, cool sculpting, and we have the entire wellness supplements being offered to our clients. So they get a complete holistic approach and a wonderful results out of our health and wellness. And we have a training academy, and we have a retail structure where we sell in products which every client might be even a college goer to an elite client which can utilize. So that's our 4 verticals which we have. Mr. Anshul, can we have the next slide, please?
Yes, yes.
The next slide. Yes. So we have been rated as the best medical aesthetic clinic chain in India for our medical procedures in cosmetology and wellness. And we have been doing 90,000 services year after year with an excellent satisfaction from the clients across all our clinics. And this is not just an accomplishment. We continue to accomplish year after year, and we would continue, and we look forward to reach out this to every part of India.
Yeah.
So how different is Kosmoderma as a business model? We as clients would have seen a health and wellness center, we would have seen a clinical dermatology, we would have seen a beauty salon, and we would have seen our retail cosmetic skincare products. Now, Kosmoderma is a culmination of all these factors, all these verticals put across, where a person from a psoriasis treatment to an anti-aging treatment, to having supplements and having a complete health and a body sculpted procedure. It's a one-stop shop solution at Kosmoderma. And this is completely backed by dermatologists with a very unique business model. And we train continuously with the top pharmaceutical company like Allergan and Galderma. So we are positioned ourselves as one of the premium skin brand in India. So where is our segment positioned? Yes, we are the segment where we would like to position ourselves, and we have been in the premium segment where we cater to all the clients, may be a household to a housemaker to a celebrity. And we have a range of clients which we have catered to. And we are proud that we could touch base and we could connect with all the clients across all levels in our clinics. Though it's been the pandemic crisis which has brought us to 2 focal safety procedures, or absolute focus of, at every service, at every client which they look for. One thing is the safety, and the second thing is the immunity. But I would say over here is that this is going to be the most important factor. Even we surpass this pandemic crisis, safety is going to be the factor, and the immunity building across, of all our clients. So we have covered it all. When the pandemic crisis hit us, we have ensured that we follow the safety procedures of WHO, and we have immunity booster therapies, which happen successfully in all our clinics. India is an opportunity. Yes, India as the most fastest growing major economies in the world. And we have been successful by having a lot of a growing factor in the beauty business. And with the major cities, I would say major cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. And if you look at it, the beauty and salon is 48%. And we, as we all had already mentioned, we are a culmination of nutrition, weight loss, and beauty and aesthetic treatments. So we have been able to merge all this at one roof, and we have been successful in that. We have been having a days where We have evolved from a beauty parlor to a specialized beauty salons, to hair salons, to nail spas. Now, what we are looking at, which is a new age science, which is the medical aesthetic clinic, it's a beauty clinic, where we treat clients from the science beneath the skin rather than a very superficial, which is a very temporary factor which people had been looking at. And now people are looking more at what's the science beneath the skin. And we are here to ensure that long lasting and everlasting results, which is backed by dermatologists. And if you see, there's been 3 billion growing business in the beauty care industry with 300 million in beauty treatments. So definitely the medical beauty is going to be the in business where people would want to look at it in a medical point of view rather than, having a very, very superficial and a very temporary kind of a treatment. So we had, where we have had 250 million of people in 2018, where we had corporate women to college students being using. And we could look forward to a 2030 at 65% raise in terms of the customer pool. So now when we look at 2030, we look at every 2 household, 1 person out of it is using the medical beauty clinic. So definitely it's not a stagnated market where people, beauty salons have been beauty salons. No, we have been evolving and it's come to medical beauty clinic. And we have always been a clinic where we have brought the international standards to the Indian market, because the CEO always had a vision of having the international standards being brought to the Indian clients. So our Indian market could utilize it to the maximum, and with the Indian pricing, so that it's the affordability factor has been a very, which has been a very value important tagline of ours. So these are the top 15 cities which we looked as an opportunity to develop. And we have had it in phase 1 and 2 and 3 with Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. And in the phase 2, Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, and Chandigarh. So that's the first 2 phases which we are looking for. And definitely we look at the phase 3 with Kochi, Vizag, Ahmedabad, Surat, Indore, Kolkata, Jaipur, Ludhiana. And the 4th as Coimbatore, Bhopal, Lucknow, Kanpur, and Dehradun. So we are looking at having the medical clinic across entire directions of India, across pan level. So we would want to have the medical clinic kind of an approach where people would start using medical clinic as the next new age science rather than using beauty parlors or salons at tier 3 cities as well. So that's our vision of having the science, beauty science across India. So having said that, Kosmoderma has been a renowned brand, and we look forward to spread our centers across every city in India. And I pass on my to Mr. Anshul to take it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anshul. Thank you very much. Franchise proposal now. A great introduction to the brand and the plans. We now look at the overall franchise proposal now. Right? So as has been discussed earlier in this presentation, reasons to partner with Kosmoderma today, of course, vast Indian opportunity. We see not only women today, corporate women and college students, we also see a growing acceptance of such services amongst men also. So that is where we see, this is an evolving demand and there is lack of quality service providers. So at one side, we have the demand moving up, the customer segment moving up, but there is, of course, lack of quality service providers. So that is where this opportunity is coming up for 15 cities to do 50 centers. Company already has 5 centers in Bangalore, 1 in Chennai. So you can imagine the potential per city in terms of number of centers that can be done, right? Now talking about the brand strength, of course, experience and expertise over 15 years in this category. Dr. Chytra herself is an internationally acclaimed celebrity cosmetologist. and has been doing wonderful work in Bangalore. Of course, now setting up a center in Chennai as well. So these 6 centers, it presents a strong proof of concept that this is a sustainable business. This is a, with a great opportunity. On the franchisee benefit side, so we're looking at high growth and high margin business, and you would see in our subsequent slides also that this business has a potential to give you about 40% as a net margin, which is a net profit on a turnover. Just to take a name here, Kaya Skin Clinic already operates about 97 centers in 16 states in India, which also has set a precedence that skin and hair clinic is a business that can do wonderfully well in India, right? And of course, companies also looking at more efficient and sustainable master franchise opportunity. We'll discuss more on this in our subsequent slides. Yes. So as Tanushka mentioned earlier in the presentation, that we have 2 business models. One is Elite, which is a full service clinic. And then we also have Express, which is, a smaller setup, only offers, the fast moving or most accepted services, right? What we're looking at here is we're looking at a master franchisee, in fact, who would come in and take the rights for a city, like for example, takes the right for Hyderabad, sets up the first Elite center, and then has rights to develop smaller spoke centers as a sub-franchisee. And this, of course, not only independent centers, we can also integrate this business with larger salon setups also, which can be your franchisees. So we have more on this in my next few slides. So that's the role we're looking at from a master franchisee point of view. As I said, master franchisee takes the exclusive rights for a city, and then brings in the larger center Elite directly by himself. And then, of course, those sub-franchisees can do Express model and Elite model. Having said that, we are also available for single unit setups as well. So not only that, we're looking for master franchises here. If we want to do a direct single clinic Elite model or Express model anywhere in India, company is available for that opportunity as well, right? In terms of the ideal partner profile, of course, you would see this slightly a larger investment. For Elite, we're looking at 1.5 crores, and for Express, we're looking at about 70 lakh rupees. So of course, financials are important. At the same time, ability to diagnose a customer, diagnose a patient, understand his requirement or her requirements, and offer the right solution is also very, very important in this case, right? So that is where we see, a husband-wife team with an existing clinic facility who have a little bit of space available can be an exciting combination for this franchise opportunity. At the same time, we're also looking at investors who have, doctors in their team can also be an exciting opportunity for that segment as well. So 2 profiles, ideally, one is husband-wife team. Ideally, one of them is a doctor. Second could be a large investor who's probably looking at a master franchise opportunity, has a team of doctors with him, and can set up these centers in that city. This can also be integrated with large salon setups. So all branded salon chains in your city are potentially your franchise, could be your franchise partners. Once you've taken the master franchise, I would take the example of Hyderabad. You've taken a master franchise right for Hyderabad. You could then start approaching the salon chains and offer this as an additional service to their existing setup, right? In Delhi NCR also, we have seen many salons, adding a first floor or taking up space on the first floor and starting these clinics along with their salons on ground floor. So that is a very, very interesting opportunity. Because salons also have the similar customer base who's looking for some skin or hair treatment, hair improvement service. while this can be a very good extension to their service, helps you improve the ticket size, the average customer value, and makes it more interesting in terms of the revenue potential. Key support functions in pre-opening. So before you start, company works with you in terms of the site approval. Having done 6 centers, 5 in Bangalore, 1 in Chennai, the company understands very well, what location, what site would work best in this case. So we bring in that expertise to work with you to get you the best site. Second, clinic design and setup. So this is also in terms of bringing in the right equipment, bringing in the right interior design for the center, equipment sourcing, training at launch. Training is also in terms of grooming to your therapist team and the clinic staff. More importantly, training to the doctors who would actually be doing the service, right? So that would be done. And post-opening as well, the training is not only at the start of the business. We have a very well-structured and documented training module which runs around the year to continuously, help your doctors, help your team stay updated with the latest trends in the market, right? Of course, company brings in the marketing support through social media campaigns, digital campaigns, and continues to build lead generation for you in your market, right? Assistance in critical services execution. So we have a team of doctors who have been with the company for a long time now, and they are able to execute any service that needs to be done. So these doctors would be available on a call basis and help you execute these critical services. So at times you may not have the required expertise to do a particular service. So our team of senior doctors from Bengaluru can fly in and help you do that. So in terms of the business, you're not only limited to what you can offer, but we have this senior team of doctors which help you expand and offer a larger service portfolio to your customers. Now coming to the financial working, as we've said before, we are looking at 2 models here. Elite, which is a full service clinic setup. We're looking at 900 square feet space. This is a carpet area. And this need not be the ground floor location. This can be first floors as well. So you can save a little bit on the rental side. Similarly, Express, which we calling as Spoke, is a 750 square feet center. Has a limited service offering, but yet gives you the mix of best services which are in demand from the customer side. In terms of the investment, Elite would be about a 1.5 crores, which includes a 1 crore investment on the equipment. And that's why we call it, we're making it as a hub. So in a city, you may do 1 or 2 hubs only, but we have multiple spokes. Spoke, the investment is 72 lakhs, which has about 40 lakh rupees on equipment, 10 lakh rupees on franchise fee. In terms of the revenue now, if you see, we have 3 services. One is consultation service, which all your customers, patients walking in the day would do that service. Then we have treatments and we have product sales. So over the years and from the 6 centers that we have been running, it is experienced that 100% customers take the consultancy services. But about 50% would do treatments, 50% of that would do product sales. Right? So given that, and these numbers that you see, Elite 40 customers a day, Express 30 customers a day, this is what we have seen in our centers. And these numbers are absolutely taken from the real performances in these 6 centers, right? So ideally for an Elite, we're looking at about 30 lakh rupees monthly revenue. For an Express, this is about 22, 23 lakh rupees, right? In terms of the operational expenses, as I've mentioned before, you're looking at a 40% gross margin, net margin on this turnover. So for an Elite, you would do about 12, 13 lakh rupee net profit in the month. For an Express, we're looking at 8, 9 lakh rupee net profit in the month, right? So which means that you're looking at an ROI for both the models between 15 to 18 months or up to 20 months. 1.5 years is what we're looking at in terms of getting a reasonable, a realistic ROI from this business. You can see a 2 to 3% is also allocated to training and development. This is, as I said, we have a very well structured, documented training program, which runs right through the year as a continuous exercise. And we have also put some 2-3% allocation towards that as well, right? In terms of the staff, where we have one senior doctor, which is at an average of about 1 lakh rupee a month. If you are a doctor yourself, you could be this person and save that 1 lakh rupee. There are two therapists, ideally about 25,000 rupee monthly salary. One clinic manager, so the franchisee owner can be the clinic manager himself, or we can put a clinic manager at site who manages the daily operations, manages the schedule for the doctor. So this is a combination where a doctor can be franchisee himself, or a franchisee can become a clinic manager himself. And then we have one person as a housekeeping. Year 2 onwards, as we grow in numbers and volume, we have added additional nurses or an affiliate doctor to come in year 2 onwards. So this is what converts to about 15%, 13, 14, 15% of your monthly revenue. Right. Yeah. So that's all we have on the franchise proposal. I would like to invite Mr. Garmaya and the team to,
Tanishka ji, I mean, I have a few questions for you. To begin with, we have to go deeper into understanding of the business model. So let's start with, the whole space itself as the whole aesthetic clinic space. Would you like to give a little bit of a overview in terms of what is the landscape look like and what is the competition and how differentiated from, because it's a beauty clinic, it's a very clinical in nature. So what would be the core differentiation we would have versus a lot is available in the market? And I would also use this word because we've been associated, Franchise India has been associated with the beauty clinics for some time. Historically, they were led by doctors who were very experienced and came from clinical backgrounds and so on and so forth. And historically, that was how it evolved. And then now we have all kind of players coming in. I mean, a lot of salon operators also kind of use these terminologies and do a lot of work in the laser side and things of that nature. So the audience is becoming a little blur in terms of the understanding what is a good quality aesthetic clinic and how would we understand that you are a credible player in the background, and also with Dr. Chytra's background herself. So there is a value which comes in, but would you like to give our audience that what is the differentiation and what does the landscape look like today?
Okay, now, firstly, the strategic location of Kosmoderma should be at a place where a Kaya or an Oliva is there, because they would be our, other players in the market doing the similar business. But now, coming to what you had mentioned about saying that beauty salons also, speak about this, but there is one major, very big difference in terms of what a beauty salon does and what a medical clinic does is, a beauty salon does work or does the procedure by beauty therapist. But over here at a medical beauty clinic, it's done by the doctors. It's overseen by the doctors. So that makes a very big difference by a mature person just being trained, on a very superficial level, and a doctor who knows the complete science and about the skin and hair and body doing the procedure. So if I'm going to pay an X amount going to a beauty salon and going to a medical beauty clinic with the same price, I would definitely like to use the expertise to, to touch my skin rather than have just, a therapist, beauty therapist doing my service.
Sure. So this is a very good answer. And so there is a clear differentiation. And when you really go out and see the practitioners, doctors running these therapy, the clinics and actually practicing in a clinic, then you will see that the number becomes very, very small. Then you will be handful, and companies like Kaya, obviously, which is a part of Marico, a very large group, they are again only specialized on the skin side of it, and that's where they really position themselves. And then you really start handpicking these places, and you will become one of the lowest penetrations in the world would be India. Just to give you an example, even in Dubai, there is currently about 3,000 medical doctors practicing aesthetic clinics, and out of that, Jumeirah itself would have about 400 odd clinics available, which are run by sometimes English doctors, a lot of European doctors who really practice there and do that. So it's such a small city which has a population of a 4.5 million kind of thing, and also that a very little population of what I call the locals. The demand is so high. So in India also, I think there is a growing demand from the segment, is a very, very large growth. And this is my next question, and maybe to Dr. Anand.
Sorry, Gaurav, just to add on to this, what I'd like to say is India is also a very unorganized or a disorganized sector right now. What has happened is there's no licensing, there's no structure, formal structure from the government, which is why you see that salons also want to do lasers, they also want to do peels, because the people are demanding for it. They're like, I don't want a regular facial anymore. What more can I do? How can I get more results? That's what the patient is asking. And now with the digital media and everything, you'll see that people are all very result oriented. So they're not happy with just having a feel good facial. They want a result oriented facial, which is why the salons are stepping in. I'm also in the panel for the government for licensing this. So in another 18 months, we'll see that this whole sector will get organized. And when that organization happens, salons can not do this on their own. They'll have to have a medical doctor heading the facility, or they'll have to liaison with a brand that's headed by a doctor, etc. Because there will be these licensing issues that are going to come up and become a big play. And like you said, it's opening up. It's very nascent in India. And as the penetration is increasing, people definitely want result-oriented treatment.
Sure. So I will extend this question, Dr. Anand, because a lot of people would like to know what is the target group now, and how do you see this target group widening up? Because when it started in the early days, it was very clearly opinion makers, people who have a little bit of a extra disposable income, people who came from glamour industry and things of that. They were early adopters to this, but now it's gone all wide, and much wider. So we'd like to understand how is the target group changing? What is the men-women ratio? It's happening for this, and I think because now a lot of men are also preferring, especially on the hair side, the demand is more from men, and then for a woman, and that's So how the target group is changing, and what do you really see for your clinic? Who is your really key target group, and what kind of average spend you will see they coming in, and how is your clinic?
Tanushka, you taking this or mine?
You can say it, doctor, and okay. I will follow you.
All right. So if we look at the historical data out of our clinics, our typical target segment is anywhere between 16 to 55. I know it seems so vast. The reason is that as basic as pimples or acne, right? And today the data shows that 70% of Indians will have pimple problems at any given time, out of which 50% of them will have a severe degree, which is the salon treatment will not help. So they're looking for help. Now, once they finish treating their pimples, their life cycle becomes that they'll go in and have a scar treatment done. So they're going to stay in the system and then go for their scar therapy. Once that is done, then they'll look at maintenance of their skin, because from bad skin, they've got good skin. Now they're going to look at how do I maintain this? So they become your lifetime customer, where they're coming to you. If they're under 25, they come to us once every 2 to 3 months. But if they're over 25 to 40 age group, they typically come to us every 6 to 8 weeks. And once they're over the age group of 40, they come to us on a monthly basis, because that's how skin cycle changes. The same goes for hair. If someone's experiencing hair loss, they're really scared about hair loss. Nobody wants to lose hair. They're more scared about their hair than their skin a lot of times. So if they're having hair loss, then they'll come to us. The hair loss is settled, but they'll have to get into quarterly, which is once in 3 months, as a maintenance. Because if they stop maintenance, the hairs are gonna fall out, and no salon treatment, shampoo, home care, onion oil, onion mask is gonna help them. They're gonna have to need treatments delivered to the root of the hair. So this is how the whole spectrum is. So that's the young one. Now, if we have people coming in their 30s, these are people who were not able to afford it before, or who didn't have the exposure before. But now, because of a double income family or slight independence and also affordability, I mean, 1,500 rupees to 2,500 rupees per month expense is nothing today for most people. They're always going to slot it in. And so what they do is they come in and then they get onto the maintenance program because they want to maintain their skin. 90% of Indian women and 60% of Indian men will get pigmentation problems on their face, and nobody likes pigmentation. So they're going to come and get it cleaned up. And we know that pigmentation typically cannot be treated with a facial. It needs peels, it needs lasers. So again, after that, they again get onto a maintenance, which is once every 3 months. So we're talking about patients being with us lifetime. So that's how we actually started opening up more Cosmodermas, because we started reaching full capacity at one. And so we had to open another one in the suburb to cater to the next part of population, because we couldn't take new patients anymore. Now, ticket spend varies depending on the age group, but typically a lifetime, a yearly spend of a patient with us or a client with us is anywhere between 10 to 15,000 rupees is what they'll spend through the year, like a basic ticket value. Our high spenders spend about 4 to 5 lakhs with us on a yearly basis. So that constitutes about 20% of our clientele, which is the high spenders. And then you have the low spenders, which is your average ticket size of 10,000. Like that's the basic ticket size through the year spend, because nothing is one-off treatment. It's usually like 4 to 6, because once they have it, they love it and they want to keep coming back for more. And because the results last for about 3 to 4 weeks, they come in once in 4 weeks. So that's the basic ticket size. But on an average, if we average it out, it's about 20 to 25,000 rupees per client that gets in. And male-female ratio is 70 to 30, 30 male and 70 female. And it's not about hair. Men are equally concerned about their skin and also about their fat loss. So body shaping is very popular with our male clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I think
the male clients are equally, they are very, very, very concerned about how they look, and they're very concerned about their hollowness. They're concerned about their pimple marks and all that. It's nothing less. We are never in the days where the male are, kind of laid back, and the women are in the forefront. The men are equally there out, which are very concerned of how they are looking at.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, and I think that's what data says. And purely for a hair clinics, I think the number is even more because men, I think, especially younger men, start losing hair too fast.
And one more thing I would like to add here is that it's because when they come to our clinics and they come for an acne treatment, they see a lot of services which are there, which is concerning their hair or it's concerning to their body. So even the smallest thing of a double chin, they feel that, okay, in a month, it's going to go away. So we have our base, which doesn't go anywhere. So one client which comes in, you could use him for skin, for hair, for body, all of it. So we have clients even, spending in a year 15 lakhs for their body treatment. So that's the 15 lakhs for body treatment. And then that's the kind of, clientele which we can have in terms of high spenders. So it's not that they look out, step up and hop to different clinics. It's one clinic which they can, have the same client using for different services.
And one more thing, when we formulated this and we thought about Cosmoderma Express and Elite model, the idea was if somebody is earning 25,000 rupees per month, they should be able to afford us. That's what it is. If you have 25,000 as your salary, CTC, you will be able to afford Cosmoderma. That's the principle we work on.
And that would bring a lot of scalability to the business, and that's why we want to really go to 50 cities. I think the opportunity is much better. So now I will take one question and then I'll pass it on to Sonia for taking her remarks and questions, because I am not authority on beauty side. So I will leave the questions for for her to really do it. But On the business model side, we have two models. One is the elite, and the second is a more spoke model, which comes in. So first, when we enter Hyderabad, we would like to put up the elite, because a lot of our services would be only available in the elite, because the kind of the capability we build it, or we can go with a smaller model also.
I would suggest like a place like Hyderabad to have an elite model, like how in case of a Mumbai or a Chennai, because there is people who are high spenders and people who looks more than a small city. So definitely Hyderabad has a lot of scope of having an elite model at that place.
I agree with you. Hyderabad probably would be among the topmost market, and if I'm not biased with Bangalore, so I think it is even bigger market than Bangalore from a spender's viewpoint, and also about consciousness about the industry. And if you open up maybe in Jubilee Hills or in Banjara, in a good
Banjara Hills.
With a nice kind of
Yes.
aesthetic, I think it'll do very well. It's like it reminds me a little more on a Jumeirah of Dubai. It's where people are
It is.
high spenders, and they are very conscious about that. And even the industry, the whole Telugu film industry is a relatively much bigger industry, and they all want to really look at these clinics. And there is not so much being done in that market, so I think there is a good market there. Similarly, Chennai is a very big market. Obviously, Delhi and Mumbai have a lot of players available in the market, but still, it's much, much wider as a marketplace. But I agree with your selection of rollout, that I think the topmost market to really pinpoint at this moment would be Hyderabad and Chennai.
And even Calcutta, because Calcutta is growing. There's hardly any players. It's very organized. People actually travel outside of Calcutta to get their procedures done. They actually come to Bangalore a lot of times. So we do have a fairly decent base coming in from Calcutta for procedures once in a quarter. So I think that's also a very growing market.
The growing market is the third most bigger city of India, and we now a lot of spend. And also, I'm going to give you another fact about Calcutta, that Calcutta, whatever is available in aesthetic clinic, is not addressing only Calcutta. There is a huge
Northeast.
Bangladesh people really fly down for getting basic treatment done in Calcutta.
Very true.
Very, very conscious. The rich Bangladeshis, and they're really rich. And these families would come and stay for 15 days in a 5-star hotel and get their treatment done. Especially the young ladies would come before their marriages and future. So they would do a lot. So there are a few clinics which are actually looks like a more addressing Bangladeshi population than actually a local Kolkata population, which is India has a very unique stories, so one you really go deeper into understanding, and that, so.
I gave 2 lectures to the Bangladesh Dermatology Society, and I did a training program for their entire dermatology society 2 years ago. And I remember like people were like, oh, we'll come. The doctors wanted to come to Bangalore to get their treatments done.
Yeah, we did one big project of the aesthetic clinic in Bangladesh for a doctor, one of the most leading doctors actually. She's a practitioner in Bangladesh, but there's nothing. She's the only problem, pretty much the leading the market, but there's no other player in the market which is doing it.
Yeah.
So, over to you, Sonia, for your remarks and your questions from the audience also. And
see some questions coming in. Thanks, Dr. Anand and Ms. Lal. I also personally feel there's an opportunity, owing to growing aesthetic consciousness that we have in the country today. And overall, as an industry, it was in 1991 that the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in India found that the ratio of dermatologists in the country versus the population was very low. That point in time, we only had about 2,000 odd people who were serving a population of 850 million people. But since then, the industry has evolved. Even today, as we speak, there are almost about 1 in every 20 people in India who are still facing skin problems. Some are taking treatments, and many of them decide not to do that. So yes, the business runs on science, and I want to add on to that. And when we say science, it means performance. It means ingredients must deliver tangible and predictable results. And that is where many brands will break out of the pack. And that's why, many companies or brands don't perform, because this business works on word of mouth. And second, which I want to also add on, is personalization. There's a huge trend of personalization, and beauty today is no exception to that, which means making products, treatments, which are unique to an individual need. And more increasingly, I feel it is also involving science to create that personalization. I feel these two things are very important as far as the industry is concerned. One question which I want to pick, and this is based on some of the international trends I'm seeing the last 3 odd months. And do you see teledermatology to be used as far as aesthetics is concerned right now? While we all understand it requires a personal interface where the client or the patient needs to come and take services, but do you see that coming in, and you see any kind of modernization of medicines which can be used for video chat? Is there a element of that which you foresee coming in this business, or maybe in your particular business at large?
So yes, I think the good thing about this COVID time was that India regularized teleconsults or video consults. Previously, it was actually illegal for doctors to do this. So now we're allowed to do this. So we've actually leveraged that. We actually have a 3D analysis system in place. So if patients call in and they're not ready to come into the clinics, which is understandable because of the sentiment, we send them a link. They take their pictures with their camera phones, the smartphones, load it up. It gives us a 3D model for them and us, and we're able to use that to show them what we can do. So it gives them not just a call, but it also gives them a visual perspective of what is going on, and then a detailed prescription. And we've seen our conversion rates are exemplary high because we spend a lot of time in our consults educating the client first and foremost. And we've seen that a lot of times what happens is after the consult, they'll take a home care. Now, good thing with Kosmoderma is we have our own skincare line with more than 60 SKUs for all types of skin and hair problems and body issues. So we prescribe this, they buy it off from our website, or we deliver, we courier it to them, or Amazon, Flipkart, Paytm Mall, all of them have our products already. And then they start using this. Now you have to understand there's a consult fee that happens, and there's also a purchase already from our skincare line. So we're able to monetize just the consult even without the procedure. So a typical spend on a, let's say a consult is 500 rupees, but they would have spent around 1,500 to 2,000 rupees minimum buying products, because they would get about 4 to 5 skincare products or 3 to 4 hair care products. So typically that would be the commercialization value. So it's been great for us because we're able to leverage this very easily, and we're able to do a lot more consults because of this, because we can slot it in very easily.
All right, I think that's an interesting point that you made. Also, considering the nature of the business, which is very, very specialized, and I wanted to maybe pick your mind on what kind of training is imparted to the franchisee, and what kind of profile of people would you want to prefer in a business like this? Well, I did hear that, a husband and a wife combo would do well, who are in similar complementing businesses. But just to add on, because we find people with various capacities and abilities, what exactly should be the ideal profile one, and what kind of training is provided to the partner, because he does not come from this background and he's not necessarily a doctor. So these two things, if we can talk about. And third, I would also like to mention, I did see a mention of one doctor at the center, and because these are various services, so is that one doctor who's a specialist in all categories, or he's one doctor who's stationed there, and then various specialists are brought in case to case basis? If you can just throw a little bit light on this area, please.
So ideally, our partner would be somebody with business acumen. The reason is we're offering a franchisee owned and franchisee operated model. They don't necessarily have to be doctors at all. The reason is that I find from training so many doctors that doctors are not great business people most times. So it's best left to business people to run a business. You can always hire a doctor, which is what we would like you to do. And we've given you a core set of teams. So there's a team for Express model and there's a team for the Elite model. And we help you also with your recruitment process to get the people. Once they've got in, we have a 4 to 6 week training program, depending on already the previous existing skills of the people you've gotten. If they were in a similar industry, sometimes it's just a 2 week orientation process and a SOP process into the Cosmoderma SOPs. But if they're novices and they're new to the industry, but they have a medical degree, and then the nurses or just estheticians from a salon or a spa industry, will require typically about 3 to 4 weeks of training from us. So this is what we offer at the induction time. And now for the franchisee, we will take them through the whole model as to starting from the basic all the way till the end. It starts from as basic as how to pick up a phone and how to answer to the client and how your front office needs to be. Then how is your manager going to be? How is your esthetician going to be? The setup, the makeup, everything. It's an end-to-end training that will happen for the franchisee owner, the manager, then the doctor, the nurses, estheticians, and the housekeeping. So we will train all of them at the starting after the franchise agreement is started, and then we'll place them there. And we will handhold them through virtual workshops and virtual trainings. And we will also audit this. And we will send our trainers across to the franchisees in the first year on a regular basis to handhold them and to also keep updating, because this is a field where there's a lot of update that happens. So every 3 months, we'll issue new treatments, new services, which they will get upskilled for. This is typically how it works. So yeah, so hiring a doctor is what you're looking at. You don't need to be a doctor yourself. The reason we suggested that a salon or a spa is a great thing was because you already have an existing pool of people who are into the beauty industry, who are looking good. So this is the upsell. So you've had them having facials, you've had them having their hair spas, etc. What do you do next? Then you upsell this. So if you have an existing pool, it's easy to transfer the pool to the upsell level. I think these should answer your question.
Yes, absolutely. Dr. Chytra, and I'll take one last question, and that is perhaps on client acquisition and marketing. You know, who helps? Is there any involvement of the parent company, which is you, in helping? Because the first few clients are very, very important, because this business runs on referrals. And once you have a good treatment and a satisfied client, you go and refer to your friends or a family. So, and how long will it take? You know, because we did see the projections of 25 lakhs and 30 lakhs in the sheet. So how long does it take? Because I'm assuming it does not happen from the very first month. What kind of gestation time would one have in the business? And what kind of marketing and client acquisition will the franchisee need to do at his level? And what would he be helped on by the company?
Tanushka?
Yes, Sonia, now if we have to say, we definitely would handhold any franchisee for the next 2 to 3 years till they are able to independently handle their franchisee by themselves. But we have a feedback team when we say that how we are going to, help the franchisee to, to ensure that they run on a very profitable manner. We ensure in terms, let me first split it into two structures. One thing is how we retain our clients. We ensure every client which walks into the clinic, there is a feedback team which talks to them on certain parameters to ensure that we are excellent, about 8% of 8 points above in every aspect of every procedure that they do. So we ensure that we retain whichever the client which walks into the clinic. Now, coming to the marketing perspective of it, we have a marketing team which will ensure that they let out the emails and SMS and what is the current, the market requirement. We work on strategies, we work on a calendar prior to every month, and then we send it out. So definitely there is a very strong marketing team which works, and we would will do the best in terms of every strategy or every mapping of each clinic which is out there.
All right, that's very helpful, Tanushka. I think we're already at the top of the hour, and I would request, maybe the last message that you want to send to the audience who's also listening live on the Facebook, and to the audience which is present. One, and second, we can fix up a date in this week or the coming week where we can take up some of the inquiries which have come to us, and you can make yourself available for a one-on-one discussions with them. Any date which you think is convenient, maybe in the next 5 odd days, we like to pick that up, and we can announce that right away, and invite interest from people. We'll filter based on the locations and maybe their own background or the occupation they come from. So over to you, Tanushka and Chytra, maybe your last message to the audience present here.
I would like to add here before I ask the CEO starts, speaking. See, one thing over here, how different would be to take a renowned brand like Kosmoderma to each of your cities is that there are a lot of other players, which are individual players, individual cosmetic dermatologists. But as Dr. Chytra said, that they are not the ones with the right international standards of operations, neither they are organized. These are very fragmented kind of players in the market. So when we get the right brand in the city with the international standards of operating procedures, with a very set data, with a very set approach in terms of client retaining and the marketing and the sales point of view, to the training, through, from the pioneers from the industry. So definitely they're going to be the best players in that particular city or the particular segment. So, and added to that, when we have all three features in terms of skin, hair, and body, all of it under one roof, definitely having a client to retain in that particular clinic is 99.9%. So that's the reason we retain our client, and we ensure that we map the client for the rest of for their life, that with Cosmoderma, so let it be an acne issue, or let it be a hair issue, let it be a pigmentation issue, let it be a body sculpting issue. So we map the client and we train the team accordingly. So that's the difference of having a standalone or an individual dermatologist or a cosmetic dermatologist to a renowned brand with the best of standards coming to their city. So I would now ask our CEO to talk, and that's all the vision of our CEO, Dr. Chytra, that she wanted to bring this, this kind of a business across all Indian locations with affordability and with the best of standards. Yes, Doctor.
If you look at the curve or the growth curve of this industry across the world, you'll see that it's already in maturity in the US, it's in maturity in the South Asian countries, and in maturity in Europe. Whereas in India and the SEC regions, as we call them, it's still a developing market. And that's the great thing about this, because it was a nascent developing market about 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's coming up to the nascent has gone, and now it's coming up to an aware market. So there's a lot of awareness, and there is the ability to spend today. And if you look at all our data, our population, 70% of Indian population is going to be under the age of 35 in the next 5 years. And all of them are working, they have expendable income, and we're geared to take care of this market. So if we're talking about 70% of India being under 35, that's the target, right? And so that's, if you say $1 billion, and then you take out, even if you take 10% of $1 billion, we're talking 100 million people here ready to take our services. And that's what we're saying. This is the future, and this is the future business to be in. It's also recession proof, and thankfully it's fairly COVID proof. So I think that's why it makes great sense. Like I said, if you're looking to invest your money and be part of a revolutionary business, this is the business to be in. And you've got to be excited by it. I want franchise partners who are excited to be part of this, and who are excited to make people look beautiful and to make them feel great. If you have that excitement, then you're the partner for us.
Dr. Chytra, I think that's very important. As far as US is concerned, there are almost 18 million odd procedures which are performed annually. And a country like UK has almost 2,000 odd treatments which they do every year. And India, by size and opportunity, is much bigger. Yes, it has started to evolve because people have got more aware than they were of becoming, and seeing themselves beautiful day by day. So we like to take the date, Dr. Chytra, if the coming week of 19th or 20th is fine with you, we can pick up the inquiries, we reach out to them, filter them, and take maybe some hours out of the day to have your availability. Maybe Tanushka can be available, and we can bring the prospective interested investors on a call with you. Or if you want to give me an alternate day, we can announce that, and we can bring you on that particular date.
Tanushka, is August 19th feasible for you?
Yes, doctor. 19th.
Okay, so great. We'll put 19th as the date, and we'll come back to you. And we wish you all the best, Dr. Chytra and Tanushka, and thank you for being with us on this panel today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Venus, any last word? Thank you so much. Venus, any
thank you, Team Franchise. All of you stay healthy and stay beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Archana, over to you. Thank you.
So thank you so much, the entire team of Cosmetologist, for joining us today. Thank you so much, our participants who have joined us today. We really appreciate the efforts put in by you. We want to extend our thanks to our panel member, Gaurav sir, Sonia ma'am, and Veeras. You can share your suggestions, feedback, inquiries at our business hotline number, which is 97176 83838. We are organizing one-to-one call with Miss Lal on 20th. Please book your slot, share your profile with us so that we do the filtration. And we look forward to have you again interacting with team on 20th. Do connect with Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their respective LinkedIn ID. That's the information on your screen. But before you go, since it's tomorrow, it's Friday, and we have our special Friday webinar that where we present 5 top franchisee opportunity for you. Do not miss this chance. Join us tomorrow sharp at 12 p.m. so that you get information about business opportunity these 5 brands are giving to you. We are presenting you tomorrow brands coming from F&B, education, retail and service. Book your slot today at our business hotline number, which is there on your screen, 97176 83838. Thank you so much for joining us today. Stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you so much.